What if I told you that the universe was actually actively trying to help you achieve your biggest dreams? It's a wild thought, right? Well, that's the core idea behind one of the most beloved books ever written, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Today we're going to dive in and unpack 3 of its most powerful lessons for navigating your own life's journey.
This right here, this single sentence is the beating heart of the whole story. It's a philosophy that has just resonated with millions of people. It suggests that our deepest desires, the things we really want, they aren't just random wishes. They're somehow woven into the fabric of the universe itself.
And when I say it's resonated with millions, I am not exaggerating. I mean, look at this number. Over 150 million copies sold worldwide. This isn't just a book anymore, it's a full-blown global phenomenon, one of the best-selling books in all of history. So here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the shepherd's dream that kicks this whole thing off. Then we'll get into the 3 big learnings: finding your personal legend, how to deal with life's tests, and what the real treasure is. And finally, we'll talk about what it all means for you. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, the shepherd's dream. Every epic story has to start somewhere. And for our hero, Santiago, it doesn't begin with some grand strategy. Nope, it all starts with a simple, recurring dream. So let's meet our guy, Santiago. He's a young shepherd boy in Andalusia, Spain, living a pretty simple life. But then he keeps having this dream, over and over again, about a hidden treasure waiting for him all the way at the Egyptian pyramids. He talks to a fortune teller about it, and she basically tells him, "You gotta go." And just like that, this ordinary kid sets off on an absolutely extraordinary adventure. And that decision, the choice to actually follow his dream, introduces us to the first and maybe the most important lesson from the book. It's a concept that is the engine for his entire journey, the idea of a personal legend.
So what in the world is a personal legend? Well, the book describes it as your one true purpose, your calling. It's way more than just a goal or an ambition. Think of it as the one mission you were true put on this earth to accomplish.
Now here's where it gets kind of cosmic and really cool. The book suggests that your personal legend isn't just some random thing you came up with. No, that deep, unshakable desire you have, it actually came from what Coelho calls the soul of the world. In other words, it's the universe itself nudging you toward your destiny. And the fascinating part is, the story says that we all instinctively know our personal legend when we're kids, right? Back when anything felt possible. But as we get older, this mysterious force, which is really just fear, doubt, and other people's opinions, starts to creep in and convinces us our dreams are silly or impossible. And sadly, that's when most of us give up.
But that raises a pretty big question, doesn't it? If the whole universe wants you to succeed, why is the path always so incredibly hard? And that brings us to our second big lesson. The obstacles aren't getting in the way of your journey. The obstacles are the journey.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. All the challenges Santiago runs into, they're not signs he's going the wrong way. They're actually tests. They're the universe's way of making sure he's learned the lessons he needs to be ready for his dream.
And believe me, Santiago gets tested. Big time. The moment he gets to Africa, he's robbed of every penny he has. He has to put his dream on hold for an entire year, working in a shop just to get back on his feet. Later on, he gets captured by a warring tribe in the middle of the desert. I mean, any one of those things would have made most of us turn back.
But here's the other side of the coin. Even though the path is full of these brutal tests, it's also filled with help. The book says the universe speaks to us through omens. It's like a secret language, guiding anyone who's actually paying attention. And we see these omens again and again for Santiago. His dream was the first omen. Then a mysterious king just appears out of thin air to encourage him. He sees 2 hawks fighting in the sky, and it gives him a vision that saves an entire community. And at the very end, a tiny beetle shows him exactly where he needs to dig. The message is pretty clear. For every test, the universe also leaves a clue.
So that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound lesson of the entire book. After all that struggle, Santiago finally reaches the pyramids. He's there to claim his reward, but the treasure he finds is absolutely not what he or you would expect. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. After everything he's been through, crossing a desert, falling in love, learning to speak the language of the world, almost dying, what kind of prize could possibly be worth all that? He finds nothing. Absolutely nothing. And to make things worse, while he's digging, he gets attacked by thieves. But as they're leaving,
One of them mocks him and says, "I had a stupid dream once about a treasure buried in a ruined church back in Spain." And in that one moment, it all clicks. The physical treasure was back home, right where he started.
And this is the ultimate lesson. I mean, yes, he does eventually go back and find the chest of gold, but the real treasure? That wasn't the gold. The real treasure was the person he had to become to get there. It was all the wisdom he gained, the love he found, and the deep connection he built with the world along the way.
This quote just says it all. The journey wasn't just a way to get to the treasure. The journey was the treasure. He had to travel thousands of miles across the world just to realize where to look, and in doing that, he gained a kind of wealth that gold could never buy.
So what does Santiago's crazy journey mean for all of us? Let's try and boil down these huge ideas into a few key things you can actually apply to your own life, starting right now.
So, here they are, the 3 big takeaways. First, find and follow your own personal legend, that unique calling. Second, start seeing obstacles as tests, not failures. They're part of the process. And third, remember that who you become on the journey is always the real price.
Ultimately, if you take one thing from this book, it's a powerful reminder to just listen to that voice inside you. As the alchemist himself tells Santiago, you can try to run from your heart, but you can't ever really escape it. So, you might as well stop and listen to what it has to say.
And that's where we'll leave it. Santiago's whole quest was about learning to listen to his heart and the signs the universe was sending him. So the only real question left for you is, what's your heart telling you?